boys, welcome to my Herald of Agony build guide. This is a very tanky setup, quite lazy to play and has solid damage. Now what you need to understand is that this is not a Cyclone build. Cyclone is just the trigger, so it will poison enemies for us in order to trigger our Herald of Agony minion. So yeah, this is a minion build. Now in case you have never played before Herald of Agony builds, you need to understand that we need a trigger that will poison the enemies. The most common triggers are Cyclone and Rain of Arrows. These are commonly used in the Herald of Agony builds, and you need to understand how we scale damage because it's very important. Basically, you can make Herald of Agony on any class in Path of Exile because damage is scaled greatly via gem levels, so you want effects that will bump the gem levels of your Herald of Agony. Yeah? And the second thing is virulence, and you get virulence very easy with medium cluster jewels that have here this one, Pure Agony. It increases your maximum virulence with +5. Now this build will have two versions. One will be an affordable version, which is this one here, and one will be a maxed version. On the maxed version, we're gonna use another voices here, and we'll add two extra medium cluster jewels. That will be for the max version. But for the affordable one, in order to cut down cost, it will be like this. Now my boys, you need to understand that this setup is incredibly tanky. The reason I picked Champion is not only because of the Ascendancy, that we have access to very tanky nodes, but nearby here at the bottom we have a lot of nodes that will help us with the tankiness. For example, we get extra maximum fortification that has synergy with Ascendancy. We have our blockchains here and endurance charge generation. A lot of good stuff here at the bottom in terms of tankiness. We have even easy access to spell suppression because yes, this build has spell suppression on top. We will discuss everything in this guide. And because we are so tanky, we can even use this jewel here. It's called Calamitous Vision that will grant you access to Lone Messenger. So now minions and Herald skills deal 25% more damage, and the downside, your aura skills are disabled, is no problem because this it's a very tanky setup, so you don't need to worry about using defensive auras. We're gonna use some things here that I will explain in this guide. My boys, enough talking, let's jump into everything. Let's go. Okay my boys, let's start with the items. I will first explain the unique items, then I will explain the rare items, and at the end I will explain the flasks. So let's jump into it. Let's start with the body armor, which is very important here. We use the body armor mostly for the last line. Mana reservation of Herald skills, it's always 45%. So we will not have problem with mana reservation here, because if we don't use this body armor, the Herald of Agony will reserve a lot of mana. But this one makes it always 45% reservation, which is great. When you put support gems to Herald of Agony, it will reserve more and more mana. By forcing it to be 45%, we don't have any issues. Another great thing about this chest is that we have here level of socketed Herald gems +2, and I explained Herald of Agony grants a lot of damage via gem levels and virulence. And this body armor alone gives you +2 levels to Herald of Agony. Not only that, when you will do this build, you will look for the following corruptions. Either you go with +1 level of socketed gems, or you get with +2 minion gems. Both are the same, actually are pretty similar. Now you're asking me why +1 socketed gems, it's the same with +2. Let me explain. We're using here Empower level 4. And this one will get to Empower level 5 that will compensate the +2 minion gems. So it's fine. If you cannot find with +2 minion gems, you will get with +1 socketed gems for the corruption. You will get it unlinked, and you will link it yourself with tainted currency because a lot of Saki boys, they overpay. So you'll use tainted currency in order to socket it, link it, and color it. You will get the colors using tainted chromatic orbs. It's very cheap and effective. Yeah, so don't use the bench like I've seen some of the guys. Now let's explain here the scepter. We use the Dark Seer. This is great because it will bump the levels of Herald of Agony with +2, so it's great. It will blind enemies when you spin around. It will blind the enemies, so take it as a tiny defensive boost. It will, once you blind the enemies, they will have Malediction. Malediction, it's a debuff that will make them deal less damage. Basically, you will deal more damage, they will deal less damage to you. So it's a great thing that you can apply on the enemies. Not only that, this scepter will grant you maximum life per level. So the higher level you're here, the more life you get. Same with the mana, maximum mana per level. So the higher level you are, the more mana you get. This is such a beautiful scepter that you can use. This is optional if you want to max it later. You lose the fortification station here in order to change the quality effect. You can put area of effect that will help with the cyclone and all the other spells that we use. So this, don't worry about this. You see I have this enchant. Look, area of effect. This, you can put this crap on the scepter with quality. But I mean, this is not a big thing. You can do it later. Now let's talk about the shield here. We are using the surrender for this line here. Recover life when you block. Make sure that you buy one with a good roll, because this can roll from 250 to 500. And we block a lot. Basically, we will keep sustaining our life via this shield. This is one of the things that will grant us maximum life at all times, because we block at all times, we're gonna have life at all times. Also, our life pool is pretty high. Yeah, it also has good armor, it has some maximum life, chance to block, man, it's just great. So we're gonna use the surrender. This version will not use Svalin shield, because Svalin in this league is very expensive and I'm trying to lower the cost of the build. That's why we're gonna use the surrender. Now let's move to the amulet. Here we're gonna use Ashes of the Stars. This will bump up the level of all skill gems with +1. So Herald of Agony will get more levels. Not only Herald of Agony, all our gems. For example, Ray Spectre will get more levels. Despair, everything that we use will be affected. So this is a great amulet to use. But the quality is also very important here, because it grants us quality to all skill gems, and Herald of Agony on quality will give you more virulence. And I explained, virulence is a big thing. Yeah, so Ashes of the Stars we're gonna use. You will anoint it with Mystic Bulwark, so this will give you more chance to block spell damage. And the other thing is what's really important here, increase mana regeneration rate per 1% chance to block spell damage. It's very important. When we spin, we don't want to have mana issues. Check my mana. You want to have sustain, you want to spam all your crap without mana issues. So it's important to anoint Mystic Bulwark. We're gonna use this thing here. And another tip that I can give you, you don't need to get it with 30% to quality of all skill gems. 28, 29, on 30. They will all give you the same effect on Herald of Agony, which means here 12 maximum virulence. So don't buy it 30 if it is too expensive. You can buy it with 29 quality of all skill gems, or 28, so you don't overpay. This is the tip that I will give you. 28, 29 or 30 to quality of all skill gems. It will give you the same effect on Herald of Agony. Now let's take a closer look here at the ring. We use the ring for the last two lines here. Agony Crawler deals increased damage and Chaos Resistance while affected by Herald of Agony. And of course we are using this thing. Now for the implicit, do not worry. If you cannot find one with gain onslaught for 4 seconds on hit, you will instead use a silver flask, which is very cheap. You will craft one yourself, we put some decent explicits, and you will put it on you. And this will grant you onslaught in your maps, which will also help you to clear the maps faster, because we move faster, it's just too good. So again, if you cannot get a Circle of Nostalgia with onslaught on hit, which will be the best, because it will allow you to drop this flask here, no problem, you just put a silver flask and you get it without the implicit. But it's important to get it with Agony Crawler deals increased damage, it will help out with damage, and Chaos Resistance while affected by Herald of Agony. Now the good thing is that this ring is very cheap. Remember to put some catalyst. I suggest you can put some resistance catalyst for the Chaos Resistance, or you some intrinsic catalyst for the attributes. Yeah, as a matter of fact, let me see a few things here. Let's put some resistance catalyst, why not? You see, it bumps even the... There are two modifiers that get bumped up, so maybe you want to put resistance modifiers. More Chaos Resistance, the better. Good. Now let's take a closer look at the helmet. Here you want an armor-based or an evasion-based helmet. This is because we're using this keystone here, Iron Reflexes, that will convert all evasion rating to armor. So it doesn't matter if it's evasion or armor based, you'll buy it, but you need to have it with +2 level of all minion skill gems. Again, the more gem levels Herald of Agony gets, the more damage we do. So it's important to get with +2 level of all minion skill gems, and some resistances and intelligences is possible, because this build struggles with intelligence. So on your rare items, you will look for intelligence. This is what you need to understand. Ideally with some life also. For the implicits here, you want to roll it with Embers and Anchors. Let's go here. I mean, you roll it until you have some damage conversion. Physical damage taken from his taken as cold, lighting, or fire. Any of those are fine. This will help you with physical damage mitigation. And for the embers here, you will roll for increased area of effect. So it will give you more area of effect for your spells, meaning that you have more chances to apply poison for poison sustain, pretty much. So these are the implicits that you will go for, which is pretty sexy, pretty nice. Now for the boots here, we're gonna use Hunter Influence boots, and you can buy it from the website. These are very easy. You take generic ones with movement speed, life, and some resistances. You can even craft them yourself. Actually, in the crafting guide, I will explain how to craft it very easy. You just take some evasion rating boots or armor-based boots and you craft them yourself. It's very easy. Using the fortification station, or you spam some essences on them until you have some good resistances, life, and movement speed. Pretty generic. Now you're asking me why Hunter? Well, that's a good question, my boy. In page 326, they introduced a new jewel, which is called Bound by Destiny. And you have this one, unaffected by poison if 2 hunter items are equipped. And this is one hunter item, so we see the hunter influence. And this will be the second hunter influence item that we will take in a second. So you need to understand that in the past, we used an elevated, where the paparoni, it is here. No, here. So in the past you had to elevate here to get unaffected by poison, but this can be expensive because Orb of Dominance, it's very expensive. It's also a gamble, it's 50% chance to get it, so it's a pain, you know, a lot of casual players, new players, and it's simply stressful. That's why POEGuy made it easier for everyone. We're gonna use random boots with Hunter Influence, and for the belt again, you buy an Stygian Vice with Hunter Influence. I will show you in the how to craft your items, how to get it. The most important thing, you want to roll it here with this essence. Ooh, essence, deafening essence of torment. You know, I mean torment making this guide because I need to explain a lot of things that will give you chance to avoid being shocked. Yeah, and because it's a Stygian Vice, we can also put a jewel inside with more chance to avoid being shocked. You want to reach 100%. Now you're asking me why you need this crap. Okay, good question, my boy. Let me show you why. We are using this jewel here, Storm Shroud, that says modifiers to chance to avoid being shocked apply to elemental elements. So basically, if you reach 100% chance to avoid being shocked, this will give you elemental element immunity. So you have Ignite Avoidance, Chill Avoidance, Freeze Avoidance, etc. So that's why you need to roll it with this essence. Again, I will explain in the how to craft your rare so you don't overpay. And you keep rolling until you get some resistances and life on together. And this will be 2 hunter items, which will trigger the Bound by Destiny unaffected by poison. Very easy, very elegant to get it in this league. Now let's talk about here the gloves. For the gloves, all that you care is here. Sockety gems are supported by chance to poison. Doesn't matter the level. It can be 16, 18 or 20. Same effect. So this will grant you on the spells that we socketed here 40% chance to apply poison, which is very important. So you need to have gloves, evasion rating or armor base that will have chance to poison. Sockety gems are supported by chance to poison. Ideally you want with some life and resistances, you know, so that would be the ideal gloves. Good. Let me see, I explained everything. Oh, here the ring, it's also very important. So in this guide, you'll have a timestamp on how to craft this ring. This ring, it's incredibly easy to craft and cheap. You don't have to overpay. You buy from the trade website the normal base 2-stone ring because we'll need some resistances, and you'll watch the crafting guide how to do it. Basically, we're gonna roll it until we have some life and intelligence, and you want to go to the menagerie and put aspect of the avian skill because there is a beast recipe for that. And for the prefix, you want to put non-channeling skills have -8 to mana cost. It's very important because we will not have mana issues while we spin. So it's important to get this one. Now you're asking me why aspect of the avian. Well, that's a good question, my boy. It's because we can deal double damage. So Herald of Agony has a chance to deal double damage with a huge damage boost. Plus you move faster. So aspect of the avian, level 30, we're gonna craft on the ring. Now let me see, I explained everything. I didn't explain the flask. What do you know? Here you want a Divine Life Flask with the immunity to corrupted blood. Yeah, so once you get corrupted blood crap, you'll use the flask and you get rid of it. Very elegant. Here you want a Rumi's Concoction Flask with a chance to block spell damage during effect. Perfect. With perfect will be 6. I will give you some armor when charge is full, put some quality and will help you with more spell block, which is nice. And here you want to have a Jade Flask that will give you evasion rating, and for the explicit plug something useful. I mean, like reduced effect of curses during effect. It's a good thing that you can get. Now you're asking me again because you didn't pay the attention, is because we have this keystone here, Iron Reflexes, that converts all the evasion rating that we get into armor. And when we're gonna put this crap activate, it will get converted into armor, which is very sexy. Good, let's see the next flask. It's Quicksilver Flask because we want to move like the wind. Put the explicit something useful, you know, here it's for the budget, you just roll it yourself with some Orb of Alteration until you get something with utility. You can change it if you don't like it. Yeah, no problem, but it's important to be a Quicksilver Flask when charges reach full and with quality. And here, Silver Flask. In case you don't have, here you gain Onslaught on hit on the ring, Circle of Nostalgia, you will get a Silver Flask that will give you Onslaught. Again, put quality when charges reach full. Whew. Now, if you have this implicit here, you can look for another flask. It's up to you. So, if you have the implicit here, you gain Onslaught on hit, put whatever flask you desire. Pretty much, I'll put it like this so you have some flexibility in terms of the build. Now, let's move on. Okay, my boys, now let's explain the skill gems, which are very important. Let's start with the main setup. Here you want to have Herald of Agony, level 2120. It's very important. We want to deal damage, so you want to have quality, you want to be level 21. Now, the good news about this is that this gem is cheap. So it's not that expensive. Level 2120 Herald of Agony. You want level 4 in power. It's very important. Don't buy level 1 or 2. It needs to be level 4. This will grant you more levels to Herald of Agony. You will deal more damage. So pay attention. All these gems from the main setup needs to be with quality and good levels. Awakened minion damage support. You want it level 5 with 20 quality. This will also grant you +1 level of support in minion skill gem. So this will bump Herald of Agony even more. Again, level 5 and 20 quality. Here you want pierce support. You buy it level 2020 or 2120. Don't buy it low level because it will grant you a more multiplier for projectile damage. It also will grant us pierce. So Herald of Agony does not have pierce effect. We need pierce in order to clear the whole screen. That's why pierce it's mandatory here, but again focus on big levels. Here you want awakened void manipulation. Again you want it level 5 and 20 because this is an awakened gem. And the last one you want damage on full life level 2120 or 2020. And here a small explanation for Saki boys because I got a lot of questions why we use damage on full life because my life can go down in maps. This is not for me. This is for the Agony Crawler. And Agony Crawler it's an immortal minion, meaning that he is always on full life. You will always have 35% more damage on a full life. That's why we use it. It's not because of my life bar. It's because of the life of the Agony Crawler which is immortal. That's why he will always benefit from 35% more damage on full life. Whew. Now let's talk about the gloves because this setup is very important. Here you want Cyclone which will be our triggering skill, but make sure it's level 1. You don't want to have mana issues, so Cyclone will remain level 1. If it levels up it will eat more mana and you'll have mana issues in your maps which you don't want. You will link Cyclone to awaken cast while channeling support, so while you channel with Cyclone you will trigger also ball, lighting or orbiting. Again, it needs to be level 1 so it doesn't cost a lot of mana. And the Tornado of Elemental Turbulence, it needs to be level 1 so it doesn't eat a lot of mana. So again, when you spin inside your maps, you will trigger tornadoes and ball lightings around you that will apply poisons. And those poisons will help the Agony Crawler deal more damage. That's the setup in a nutshell. But a big warning here, because I've seen a lot of Saki boys that do mistakes here, they need to be level 1. Level 1 Tornado of Elemental Turbulence, level 1 Cyclone, level 1 Ball Lighting of Orbiting. You can apply quality if you want. And I need to sell this crap. Okay, my boys, now let's go to the helmet. Here you want to have Race Spectre with Feeding Frenzy. And for the Spectre, we're gonna use a particular one. It's very important. Let me put it here. It's called this one. You buy Perfect Dark Marionette, which is very cheap by the way, it's like 10 kilos. So you have the Perfect Dark Marionette, you right click on it and it will make the corpse on the ground. You'll bind the Raise Spectre skill here and you will raise them. Let me demonstrate. So now I have the Spectres on the ground, I'm not sure if you can see them, one here and one here. And you will just use Raise Spectre skill. You see Raise Spectre here, use it on the... And now you have the Dark Marionettes. Now you're asking me why we use Dark Marionettes, same as Legacy of Prisha, because I did this setup again. Dark Marionette here will apply Feeding Frenzy, and when it dies, because it will die, they get resummoned. So basically for proccing Feeding Frenzy support, that will help our Agony Crawler. That's the setup. And here you want to put Flame Dash. Yeah, this is a mobility skill with long range that we will use, no problem here. Now let's check the scepter. Here you want to put automation, steel skin and convocation. This will automate everything so you don't have to do a lot of clicks, but it's important to get automation with a high level and quality. Yeah, but this will help you with cooldown recovery rate. So get automation level 2020 or 2120 and get convocation at max level. I mean, you can take it, put quality at least, yeah? And this will help you with cooldown recovery rate, which also gets bumped up from Ashes of the Stars that grants more quality. So again, make sure to put quality on these two gems and you want them high level. In the shield, you want to put Despair and Tempest Shield. Tempest Shield will help you with spell block, so you become more tanky. And Despair, when you curse the enemy, he will take increased damage. It's pretty much how it works. Now here it's a trick why you want to cast it manually. Eventually, you will want to buy this one. It's a Balance of Terror with, which inflicts Wither for 2 seconds on hit if you cast Despair. And because we're casting Despair manually, it will also inflict Wither. It's a great damage boost that you can do. But for the budget, we're gonna take about this setup here in the boots. For the budget, you'll use Withering Step, socket it to enhance support level 3. With increased area of effect and more duration. Basically how it works. This will apply Wither stacks on a budget. It will inflict directly 13 Wither debuffs, meaning that the enemy will take more damage. When you see a hard enemy like a mob boss or hard rare, you will just click Withering Step here. And if the enemy is in your radius, he will get 13 Wither steps for free. Very easy, very nice. So this is the setup for Withering Step here. And that's it for the gems. I need to stress again, in your main setup, you want to have Herald of Agony 2120 and all the other gems at maximum capacity because we want to pump as much damage as possible. Good, now let's take a look at the skill tree. Okay, my boys, now let's explain the skill tree. Let's start somewhere. Let's start with the masteries, why not? We have here a spell suppression mastery. It says chance to suppress spell damage is lucky. Basically, if you have spell suppression around 70-80%, it will count as 100 pretty much, because it will roll 2 times. We have lucky suppression. It rolls 2 times and it picks the best outcome, yeah? And this is great. It's a good damage mitigation spell suppression. Here we have another one related. It will make the spell suppression even more potent. So it will prevent 3% extra of suppressed spell damage. So it makes more potent. Plus we have 3 more here. Yeah, so the spell suppressions that we have will be more potent. If you don't know what spell suppression, basically, if you get attacked with a spell and the spell does 100 damage, it will get halved. So instead of 100 damage, you take 50 damage. That's how spell suppression works. It's a very potent defensive layer. Yeah, here it's another one. Enemies poisoned by you cannot deal critical strikes. So we have immunity to critical strikes if you poison the enemies, which by the way, we poison all the enemies. So you want to take this one, which will also give you increased chance to poison enemies on hit with attacks, which we need. And here you take this mastery and you have critical strike immunity, which is pretty good for defenses. Now let's see what I have here. Increase maximum life if there are no life modifiers on the equipped body armor. If I'm gonna inspect this one, you will see that it gives me a bunch of free life, so you want to take it. Now a big warning here, some guys took with the corruption increased life, so there is a corruption that increases your life by 5%, 6%. You don't want that crap. If you have that corruption, you can no longer use this mastery that gives 15%, it's much more better. So make sure you don't buy with increased life corruption. Now let's see this crap here. Skills cost life instead of 50% of mana cost. Basically, it will make our spells that we trigger cheaper at least. Look here, 3 mana, 1 life. Yeah, this will help us when we don't have any mana issues. You need to allocate, this is very important. Good, let me see what else I took here. Here we have another one. Chance to block spell damage per 5% chance to block attack damage. Extra spell block on top, which is pretty nice. Now I also need to remind you about the anoint because it's very important. On the amulet you need to anoint Mystic Bulwark. This will give you more chance to block spell damage, but also will help you with the mana sustain. So increases your maximum mana regeneration rate per chance to block spell damage. It's very important, this anoint, you need to allocate it. Good. Now let's see what else I can explain. This one is very interesting. We get extra fortification stacks, which has synergy with our Ascendancy. And we also have this mastery reduced damage over time, while you have at least 20 fortification. And we have permanent 26 fortification, which is great. So we can benefit from also 10% reduced damage over time taken. It's great. So this champion grants us permanent fortification 20, and we can bump it up even more with these nodes here. So 1, 2, 3, and 3. 6 extra fortification. It's just too good. And all the master is also really, really good here. Let me see what else I can explain. Here we get endurance charge generation. When we block, and we block a lot, you get an endurance charge, which is great. Yeah, pretty much. Now let's talk about the keystones. We have this one, an unwavering stance, cannot evade enemy attacks. That's why we're gonna use iron reflexes, so all the evasion is not wasted. It becomes into armor, which will help with physical damage mitigation. And this one, it's important, cannot be stunned. When you spin around with your maps, you will not stop, you will not get stunned, you'll have a good time. Good. Now we have another keystone that comes from a jewel. It's from Calamitous Vision. It's Lone Messenger. So this will give you more effect of Herald buffs on you, which pretty much will increase your chance to poison. And also make the minions deal 25% more damage, which is big. It comes with a downside. Aura skills are disabled, but with the setup that I made here, we don't use auras. This might look like auras, but they are not auras. So here we have the Herald of Agony. Here we have Aspect of the Avian, which we will talk in a second. Here we have Tempest Shield, and here is the automation. Now let's explain the jewels. Let's start here at the top. We want Unnatural Instinct. This will grant you all the unallocated nodes here. So we'll give you some resistances, it will give you some block chance, which is very powerful, it will give you some movement speed. Many is just too good. It also gives your skill effect duration, which is too good. These nodes will allocate. So you want to put here a Natural Instinct, but you need to path this way. So you benefit from the resistances here. Good. Okay, let's see what else we have. Here you want to put this crap. It's called Light of Meaning with Chaos Resistance. It lowered in price actually at the moment. I think it's 7. Oh, it's 4 divines, even more. So it's much more accessible. So this one, Light of Meaning with Chaos Resistance, entering here alone will cap your Chaos Resistance. So you don't need to worry about that one. Here it's a random jewel with increased maximum life and some resistances. You can take other goodies if you want, like for example reduced effect of curses if you find. Later you want to put that one, Balance of Terror with Wither, in that location. So this, as you gather currency, you want to put this one here. I will explain in the max section how to max the build. You want to put this one later. But until then you can use no problem maximum life and some resistances. Let me put it back. Here it's for maxing. These items are for maxing. Let's see what else I have. You want to get voices here, but because this is the affordable version, you will take you to 5 passives. Yeah? 5 passives, this will allow you to put 3 medium cluster jewels. I explained we scale damage drastically via virulence and gem levels. And you just buy random ones with 4 passives. So make sure you have 4 passive skills, 4 passive skills, 4 passive skills. And you take with pure agony. This will give you plus 5 maximum virulence. That's all. 5, 5. And one more here, 5. In the max version, we're gonna use another voices here with 3 passives, which is very expensive. But here for the affordable version, we're gonna use 4 medium cluster jewels like this. Here you put Calamitous Vision, we already discussed it. Here you want to put a Reckless Defense, this will give you more chance to block spell damage and chance to block attack damage. Keep in mind you want to buy it perfect, it's cheap, don't worry. And here you want to use a Storm Shroud jewel, which pretty much if you have a chance to avoid being shocked, and we have it on the belt, and we have it from the jewel that we socketed inside the belt, more than 100%, it will give us immunity to elements. So now I'm immune to Ignite, Chill, and Freeze. This is a big quality of life, that's why we use Storm Shroud. And here I have Bound by Destiny simply because we want to be unaffected by poison. And I explained if you have 2 hunter items equipped, and we have the boots and we have the belt. These are 2 hunter influenced items, and that gives us unaffected by poison. You need to understand that we get self-poison with this other jewel here that is called the Golden Rule. When we spin around we get self-poison, but we don't get affected by that poison. But those poison stacks will help the Agony Crawler reach maximum virulence stack and deal more damage. So this is an important setup. Man, I think I explained everything here. I explained the keystone, yeah. My boys, let's talk about chance to poison, because if you want to do consistent damage, you need to have 100% chance to poison. We get 20% from Herald of Agony here. We're also using Lone Messenger, which will make more effect of Herald buffs on you, which will make it 30% chance to poison. We get here 15%, which will be 45 chance to poison, 10% more here, 55 chance to poison, and we need 5 more. The 5 more, you will put a tattoo, which is called Tattoo of the Taoha Shaman, and you will put it here. Will give you 5 chance to poison more. So this is 60% chance to poison, and the gloves are supported by chance to poison. It will make it 100. So we have 60% with 40% here, 100% chance to poison. Make sure to take these things, which will help you with mana regeneration too. So be sure to be around level 92 or 94 in order to transition smoothly into this build. I mean, if you're not level 92 or 94, you can drop these nodes here, have less spell suppression. Yeah, but you need to allocate them straight fast again. Yeah, so it's important. My boys, now let's talk about the Bandits, Pantheon, and Ascendancy. For the Bandits, you want to kill all. This will grant you 1 extra skill points that you can invest in your skill tree here. It's very useful. For the Pantheon, let's open it. You want to go with Soul of Lunaris and make sure to unlock it fully. So you want to capture Severed, capture Fragment of the Winter, and capture Knorr, so you have all the effects activated. And for the Minor Pantheon, you will take Soul of Grutul. This will give you additional physical damage reduction each time you get being hit, and enemies that you hit have reduced attack speed, which is again slightly useful. Now let's talk about the Ascendancy, which is very important. You will unlock the labs in the following order. On the first lab, you want to go for this one, Fortitude. This will give you permanent fortification, 20%. And this has great synergy with these nodes here. So instead of getting 20 permanent fortification, we'll have 26. Because of these nodes here. And also we have 10% reduced damage from damage over time with at least 20 fortification. That's why Champion is great. We take reduced damage. We don't even need to use Valin Shield for this setup. It's just too good. Then on lab 2 you want to take this one. Basically when you reach low life it will give you Adrenaline, which is a powerful buff, and also will recover 25% of your life. So let's say you get a big hit that will chunk down your life, you will proc Adrenaline and will heal you back up. Yeah, this is a great thing to take. You'll take it on lab 2. On lab number 3, we will take Unstoppable Hero. This will give you more armor and evasion rating per fortification that you have. Remember that we have the keystone here, Iron Reflexes, that will convert evasion rating into armor. So take it as a defensive boost. And on the last lab, you want to path here and take Taunt on hit. And enemies taunted by you will take increased damage. And enemies taunted by you cannot evade attacks. This will be for the last lab. Good. My boys, I will show you now how to craft yourself the rare items so you don't end up overpaying. A lot of Saki boys end up overpaying because they don't know how to craft things. Do not worry, I will explain how to craft the belt, this ring here, and the others are easy, but I will also mention them just in case. Let's start with the belt. So we want a Stygian Vice with Hunter Influence. You will go on the trade website and you will put Stygian Vice, like this. You put a decent item level, I don't know, like 75. You put here has Hunter Influence, put yes. Corrupted you put no. That's what it is. We just take the base and we're gonna craft it ourselves so we don't end up overpaying. Now we just want with Hunter. Yeah, you buy the base and we're gonna craft it. Let's see who answers. Now that we have the base, we need to craft it, which is pretty straightforward. You want to buy this crap here, Deafening Essence of Torment, and you want to roll it. You will apply and this will guarantee that you get the chance to avoid being shocked. And you will roll it until you also get some resistances and life, pretty much. So you check resistances and life while you roll and you stop and you get something satisfying for you. I mean, even this one could work for budget. Yeah, the chance to avoid being shot is guaranteed. Oh, increased attributes. This is from the influence. Yeah, we can use it like this. Why not? And you can even, if you don't want to risk it, you can put here some maximum life. Yeah, 1 second. Remove. It's very easy to craft. This is the idea. You need to use this essence here. It's called the Deafening Essence of Torment.
It was never even there in the first.
Okay, what I will do here, let's see if I can slam some life. No, I slammed armor. It's still good armor, no problem. So here I will just put this. You can craft one better later. You see, very easy and fast to craft this one. And inside you want to put an abyssal jewel. Now if you don't know how to search it, I will show you. So you want to have chance to avoid being shocked 100%. This is because we're using a special jewel here, closed Storm Shroud. And this is, if you have 100% chance to avoid being shocked, it will give you elemental element immunity. So immunity to ignite, chill and freeze. Now let's buy the jewel that we'll put in the Stygian Vise. Let me see. Chance to avoid being shocked. You put this thing here and you put a decent roll like, I don't know, 43, 40. I have 60 there, so minimum 40. You need to make some math. Let's see. Put here any jewel and you search it. That's how you get it. Should be cheap. A lot of them. Because it's so cheap, you'll put some life. Maximum life. Put 30. Get it with life too. Why not? So many of them and so cheap. And you will put this crap in the socket. Let me actually demonstrate. I will buy it. You look, some of the other modifiers can bring utility. For example, this one, mana regeneration per second. It's great for our build. It will help us. Actually, I will buy it. Sorry for that, guy. What you need to understand, for all these rares, you look for resistances, which is important. And one more trick that some Saki boys don't know. For example, you don't need lighting resistance. Let's take an example. So here on this belt, I have lighting resistance. Maybe you need fire resistance. You write here fire. And you can put lighting to fire, and this will change the lighting resistance into fire resistance. You see? And this can help you. You can swap resistances around using the fortification station here. So it's easy to get resistances. This is what you need to understand. And inside this belt, you will put this jewel, and now it will activate the Storm Shroud, and you get elemental elements here, immunity. That's how we make the belt. Now let's see what else I can explain. For the helmet here, you will just buy it with the minion skill gems. Ideally for these items you also want some intelligence. Okay, let's do the helmet now. So let's put here minion skill gems to level up. You put 2. Now you want to be armor or evasion rating base or both. Yeah, intelligence is also highly encouraged if you can get it. Yeah, because this build struggles with intelligence. You get with some intelligence. A lot of them are cheap. Pretty much. And you look with some resistances and some life. Great here. Great one here. Let's buy it for exemplification. Armor and evasion 2 also hybrid. 10 kills. They are cheap. I mean, they should be under 1 divine. Plenty of them because they are very common. So you look for intelligence, you look for resistances, you look for life. Now we can craft something at the bench. Craft whatever you want. I really don't care. Maybe you want more resistance. Yeah, let's see. Oh, I cannot craft. Yeah, there are 6 free prefix, free suffix. No problem. This is good. This it's already good. Put some quality. And you need to put embers and ichors as I explained. Take this and this. Here you want some conversion. This one, physical damage taking as cold, as fire or lighting. You put it. And here area of effect. I mean, there are multiple ones that you can use. I mean, it's up to you. I personally like area of effect. Maybe you want something else, up to you. I suggest you go with conversion, physical damage taken as fire, cold or lighting, some area of effect. Okay, let's see another piece. For the boots, it's a joke. I'll show you. Let's do the boots now. We go on the trade website, we refresh it. Put here boots. We put here rare. We put here hunter. His hunter influence. Let's put a high item level. I don't know, minimum 81. Yeah, and you don't want to be corrupted. And we search it. Armor or evasion based. You can also put here some high values. For example, let's put 300. This will, so you see only armor and evasion bases related. Okay, we took it. These are random boots, which armor base. You can also take evasion base because we're using that keystone. You go here to your stash, you go to essences, and you'll use this one. Deafening Essence of Greed. This will guarantee that you have life. Yeah, guarantee life. And you click it until you get some resistance and good movement speed. That's pretty much how you get it. So you want to see movement speed. Look, this is great boots. I crafted it very easy. And you have the Hunter influence that we need for the Bound by Destiny jewel. So I have suffix, prefix, prefix. Yeah, I can even put a slam. Why not? Let's put a slam. Glad that I got it. You don't want this one, chance to avoid being poisoned. Okay, so this is a common mistake. If you have this modifier, it will brick your build. So you want to get poison. We want to be unaffected by poison, but we want to get poison. If you get this modifier from the boots, chance to avoid being poisoned, it will brick your build. You will do much less damage. Glad that I got it. So you keep rolling and you don't want that crap. You will look. Great boots here. Great boots. Let's put movement speed. If you don't have movement speed, you will just craft it. Let's put here movement. And we put this one. It's fine.
This is less random than we would like, but sufficient.
And let's put an exhaust lamp also. Rarity, weight, and sound. Very easy. You put some quality at the end and you use them. Very easy to craft the boots. Now, my boys, let's explain the gloves. You can buy the gloves directly from the trade website because they are cheap as fuck. You put here gloves. You put here rare. You put here uncorrupted. And you put here chance to poison. And you have socket by chance to poison. Yeah, and that's how you find it. There are plenty of them. And you look for resistances and some life. Resistances and some life. But let's see. Maybe after I make this guy, they will be more expensive. What can we do? No problem, I will show you. Let me buy some. Make sure it's armor or evasion. Okay, now I will show you how you can craft it yourself. I don't want people to overpay, and I will show you all the tricks that I know. We go here, very easy to craft. We go and you put them here, and you put Reforged Chaos, because this is a Chaos modifier. And this is inclined to give you chance to poison. That's pretty much it. And you click it until you get some life, resistances, even spell suppression you can get on this one if it's evasion based. That's how you will force trigger the chance to poison. You click until you get some life, resistances and all that good stuff. You get it consistently. Look here, I have a lot of life, some resistances, so it's easy. Now let's talk about the ring. Okay, so the ring was the tricky part, that's why I left it at the end. So let's start with the trade website. We want the 2-stone ring. Okay, this 2-stone ring, you want to make it rare, you don't want it corrupted, and let's put it a decent item level like 81. Yeah, here you want to buy it with fracture. Now, we have multiple options here. Let me show you a trick. You can put here count, and you can put to maximum life, and you want to select it with fracture. This one, fracture maximum life. Let's put something big, like 90%. You want cold resistance. Any resistance will do. Yeah, you just need to have a high tier, like 40% here. Lightning resistance. Put it here. Again, you want with a high roll, we put it 40. And fire resist. Let's put the fracture here, 40. And intelligence also. Intelligence. And you find the fracture here and you put something high, you know, like 45. And you click search. Oh, I forgot to put something. Put here one. You need to put here one. One of those. And now one of those that I selected will appear here. A resistance, maybe intelligence, yeah. So here I will take with intelligence actually. Because this build needs a lot of intelligence. By getting this fracture, it will guarantee that you will have locked in place some intelligence. Even if you pick the resistance when you spam, you will get intelligence from time to time. So no problem if you don't find like this with intelligence. But I highly encourage to look for one with the intelligence fracture. Any of these fractures are fine to use. Okay, if they don't want to answer, then I'll just take a life fracture. Okay, life fracture is also fine. At the station you can put Reforged Fire, Cold and Lightning because we already have life. If you had a resistance fracture, you put Reforged Life, pretty much. And we hit a resistance until we also get intelligence. So you check when you get a good roll on intelligence. Like here, you see? And you make sure you have an open suffix and an open prefix, which I do. And remember the resistance here, you can swap them around. For example, look, let's say you don't need cold resistance, we can do cold to lighting or cold to fire. Man, I need to buy some life force, 1 second. Okay, so you can do cold to fire. Let's say you need fire resistance, not cold. You put cold to fire, you get it. If you have a low roll, no problem. You do again and you try. Now I have a better roll of fire resistance. So you have your ring here. Maybe you want to roll it more, so you have better modifiers. I mean, you can get fire resistance tier 1 or tier 2, not like me. But for the purpose of this video, I'll just stop here. You go to the menagerie. And we go to the altar. And here you have a beast recipe for avian. So aspect of the avian requires the following thing. 2 random rare creature. You need to have the black Morrigan and the Sakwal first of the sky. Yeah, these are cheap and they are not that expensive. Okay, let's buy Sakwal because I'm missing it. This one. It's 10 kios. Yeah, 10 kios. 10, 15 is still cheap. So you need this beast for the recipe. Okay, once you got the beast, you will right click in the menagerie. It will add it to the rooster. You go to the blood altar. And you put again avian. Select this one. You put your ring that you want to craft on. So the aspect of the avian, it's a suffix. It will add it to the suffix. And you click craft. You need to do the fight.
You die rather well. Disappoint them.
The ritual is complete.
And now you have the aspect of the avian skill. You put it here. And the last part, because we have an open prefix, we will craft that thing that will reduce the cost of our spells that we trigger. Look. Put it here, you scroll down a little, it's a prefix. Non-channeling skills have -7 cost.
The power of chaos in the palm of your hand.
Then you want to go here and you put this one, Fertile Catalyst. Man, I need to buy some more. 1 sec. Oh, come on. I don't want to ruin my video for this crap. Take it here and you just put it. This will bump the life and also non-channeling skills have -8 at the moment. And that's how you crafted it. Very easy. See? Very easy to get it like this. If you have questions, write in the comments on. You can join the guild Discord server. We have a support channel, but this craft is very easy. And lastly, I want to show to Saki boys how to get the body armor 6 linked with the right colors. A lot of people overpay when it's not necessary. So even though it's corrupted, you can put quality. If you want, you can socket it, you can link it, and you can color it, which is very easy. So you'll go here with the body armor, you'll write socket. You put 4 sockets, don't put more. Click on this. This can has a chance to add a socket or subtract a socket. Now I got 6 socket. You do it for the link. You put 4 link socket. You don't put more because it will cost more. And you want to use this one, Tiny Orb of Fusing. This has a chance to add a socket or subtract one. Now I got a 6 link. This was the first problem. Next we need to get the colors. It's 3 green, 2 red, 1 blue. We click it. This has the best chances of getting the combination. 3 green, 2 red, 1 blue. 3 green, 2 red, and that's how you color it. You don't need to overpay. Man, they buy it from the trade website. They pay a lot of divines. They go to the bench and use 1,500 valors. Just use this one. Tiny chromatic orbs and you'll have no problems. Now let's move on. Okay, my boys, now I'll show you how you can push up this build even further. So let's say you like it and you want to get most out of it. No problem. Know that this build can use a mage blood, which by the way, in the guide I will have a POB for the normal setup that is here and the POB for the mage blood maxed setup. We'll include everything, including the flasks. Pretty much you need to understand that if you're gonna use a mage blood, you'll no longer use the Stygian Vice with the chance to avoid being shocked. That's why it will be essential to get on any of your flasks chance to avoid being shocked with 55 and increased effect, and so you can still benefit from the Storm Shroud Jewel. It's important. Yeah, so you'll have in the POB what flask to use, and also you need to understand that you will buy a voices with 3 passives. So these voices, the less passives they have, the more expensive they get. In this guide I use 5 passives because it's cheap, but later when you want to max it, you will use with 3 passives, and you want to put more medium cluster jewels, so you will use 6 instead of 4. Yeah, so you level up more, you will have more character levels, you use voices with 3 passives, and this will allow you to add 2 more extra medium cluster jewels, which is a good damage boost. Another thing that you need to understand, for the max version, you will use Balance of Terror, so here in the affordable version, I'm using a rare jewel. You want to unsocket it and put Balance of Terror here. With this modifier, you inflict Wither for 2 seconds on hit when you've cast Despair in the last 10 seconds. So the moment you see a boss, you curse him, and this will also inflict wither for you. Good. Another thing that you need to understand, you can get with double corruptions, you can get with sockety gems and +2 minion gems. This will greatly give more levels to the Herald of Agony. It will be +4 because it will also affect the Empower. Empower will get +5. So you have with these corruptions, actually Herald of Agony will get +4 sockety gems. That's a nice damage boost. You will use a Svalin shield because this will allow you to have more spell block, more effective spell block. It will be in the POB. And the important here to notice that we will drop Bound by Destiny because we will no longer have Hunter influence on the Stygian Vice here. So you'll need to have an elevated Unaffected by Poison on the boots. Yeah, you'll buy it from the trade website. Makes sense, this is the expensive version. So pretty much these are all the changes that will be. You'll have a POB dedicated for the Mageblood maxed version. Well, that's it, my boys. If you have questions, if you want to see more gameplay showcase, etc., know that on the Guild Discord server I always make support channels. So all my builds have an info channel, and they also have a support channel where you can ask questions and all that good stuff. So I'll open the Herald of Agony Champion dedicated support channel shortly after I upload this video on YouTube. Enjoy the rest of the day, and good luck.